So we need to reject the whole notion of occupation, occupying other countries. We have a foreign policy that says that we offer them a chance to join us in what we do. We go and so we'll prop up a dictator. So if they're friendly and it's a friendly dictator, we prop them up like we did Mubarak in Egypt for all those years, like what we're doing in Egypt. Authoritarian government. 15 out of the 19 people who hit us on 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia. So we protect them, and they suppress the democratic movement in Bahrain. So we go on and on. We prop up these dictators. But if a dictator turns on us, there's this thing, how many years did we, well, we worked with bin Laden, of course, and then Saddam Hussein, we worked with him. We gave him Iraq their first nuclear reactor. So, well, when he turns on us, then we have to change our mind. So then we start bombing and killing them. So we either give them money or we bomb and killing them. And I'm offering just something different. Why don't we just talk to them and trade with them? Now, the most preposterous foreign policy is demonstrated with Pakistan. We give money to the dictator at the same time we're bombing them. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. The people get angry at their government, they get angry at us, and yet we have all this collateral damage. It was an utter tragedy the other day when we saw one of our men, kill 16 of Afghanis. But what about the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced and killed with our invasions over here? I mean, if we blind ourselves to this, we cannot solve our problems. We have to be concerned about it. I was drafted in 1962. It was when the Cold War was getting pretty hot. That was when the missiles were in Cuba, a slightly different set of circumstances. But then I was in for a total of 5 years, but also the Vietnam War was going on at that period of time. But the French had been in there for approximately 10 years, and we were there for about 10 years. Probably close to, it's been estimated up to 1 million Vietnamese had died. We lost 60,000 plus many, many wounded and many who were sick for a long time afterwards. So finally they said, well, we can't lose because there will be a domino effect and the whole world will be engulfed by communism. Well, if they had listened to Mises says communism can't work because it's non-viable, and it is true. The Soviet system fell apart, the Chinese became our bankers, and now we're trading partners with the Vietnamese. So we go back and forth in Vietnam. We invest over there, and they come over here, and things are going much better. So just think for a minute. What was achieved in peace that wasn't achieved in 20 years of killing? When are we going to wake up and say that war is not the answer? In the 1960s, there was a saying that went around that said that if you were 20 years old and you weren't a liberal, you had no heart. But if you were 40 and you weren't a conservative, you had no brain. But I'd like to suggest, why can't we have a heart and a brain all our lives? And I think that's what freedom's all about. I get accused of not caring about my fellow man because I believe in freedom and I'm not willing to use force to get things done. But if we are human, I take it for granted that we all have humanitarian instincts and we'd like to see everybody thrive. So if we truly want to be humanitarian, you have to look at the system that produces the greatest wealth and distributes that wealth more fairly than any other system. And it's the free market. This is where prosperity comes from free market and incentives. But now we don't have a free market. We have a controlled market. We have a controlled monetary system. We have all this deficits. So we don't have that. So if we really care about people, I think we have to argue this case for the free market and civil liberties. But today, I think our confidence has dwindled. But there's a growing number of people now who are saying, you know, enough is enough. We can turn this around. We know how to do it. We've had examples of this. It isn't as bad as it was with the Soviet system. They did not have our same traditions. We've had a tradition, at least if we just, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult. We wouldn't even have to rewrite a whole lot. Maybe we could just send people to Washington that would read the Constitution and obey it. Freedom to me is an attractive idea because I think what we should strive for in our personal lives is excellence and virtue. This would be a personal goal that we have. But true happiness, I think, comes from being productive and taking care of ourselves. When other people take care of oneself or they live off other people, either through the political system, I don't think they have the true satisfaction. And some people who have wealth that feel like they didn't get it fairly end up with a lot of guilt. But I think the true sense of happiness is when people take care of themselves and feel good about it. And you can't do that in a slave system. You can't do this when the government's running everything. And this is why not only gives you the greatest prosperity, I think it would give us the greatest sense of satisfaction to have a system that encourages self-reliance. And we had it before. We've tried it. People did benefit by this, but now we think that what we have to do is keep running to the government and having the government tell us what to do all the time. It hasn't been working very well, so I think what we have to do is restate our conviction and make it loud and clear. We need policies that are designed to bring peace in the world, designed to have sound economic theories, and designed to take care of our civil liberties and allow us to run our own lives as we so choose. Unfortunately, today what drives our politics are the politicians and the lobbyists, and they're driven by power. Power is what they seek, and some of them get satisfaction. There's always going to be some in society who get their whole sense of life by having power over other people. And I guess we'll always have to put up with that. But I'm convinced that the only way you can answer that is with a better idea, understanding what liberty can bring to us, and also prevent the people who think that they can control the whole world by just having more lobbyists. Now, a lot of people think the solution for this is just outlaw lobbying. I don't think it's that simple. I think you have to outlaw the system. As long as the government is auctioning off stolen goods from the people, you're always going to have lobbyists trying to get in there and get their benefits, the benefits of the regulations and the taxes program. But if government is small in protecting our liberties, you're not going to have that problem. But right now, it is a struggle for power, and this is why we don't see a whole lot of difference, if any, between the two political parties. Yes, the rhetoric is different. Some is a little bit better on some issues than the other, but there's really not a whole lot of difference. It's overpower is what they do. But what we want is control of our lives. What we want is to, once again, have a society that we can be proud of. Once that we can say, this is the way that we can achieve peace and prosperity, is through a philosophy that we had been introduced to, but we have forgotten. And yet it is something that has been around for a long time. But we have to reverse a lot of things. We'd have to reverse the whole ideas of monetary policy, the foreign policy. We have to reverse this idea that you can write laws by the executive branch and that they can write executive orders and tell people what they can do with total disregard of the Constitution. So this is available to us, and we will have to make a choice. Some people say, well, this is the election, now do or die, this is it. Well, I don't think one election is end all. I think some of these changes are going to come about. I don't think there is any way that they can stop the ideas of liberty as they're boiling out today. So That is the great message. I think there's a better understanding than there has ever been about what freedom is all about. I think there's a big understanding now of the need for this, the need for a different viewpoint, and we don't want more tyranny. We want less. And we know what is there, and it's available. And where I go, and I go to many campuses and around the country, and believe me, these ideas are alive and well, and they're growing. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited when I come to a group like this. It's an enthusiasm that you have, but every one of us has a responsibility. And a lot of people, after I speak, they'll come and say, okay, tell me what I have to do. And you know what I tell them? Do whatever you want to do. And everybody has a role to play. If you accept basically what I'm talking about, you have more responsibility than those who never look at these. So most people never pay much attention. So you're in a small minority of people who care about what's going on and care about political ideas and economic ideas. But if you come to these conclusions that liberty is better than tyranny and you believe in it, there's more responsibility falling on your shoulders. But it's not only like a sacrifice, it's a responsibility where you know what is best for you, you know what is best for your family, you know what is best for your community. And besides, you should get some satisfaction from doing this. One thing, though, is that if you look at only the problems, you can get pretty despondent and say, oh, tomorrow the world's coming to an end. There's going to be more war and more depression. But there are a lot of like-minded people out there. There's a lot of like-minded people in an audience like this. And coming together and working for a cause, you can have a lot of fun doing this too, because you don't know exactly what will come tomorrow. Nobody knows that. But if you know what is right and you believe in it and working for it can give you a lot of satisfaction. So I think the cause of liberty and the cause of peace is worth fighting for. There's every reason in the world to believe that we can restore the greatness of America. Thank you very much.